Closing doors, please.
All right, can you tell me your name and where you're from?
I'm Rick Crom, in New York, but I live in Jersey City.
Can you tell me...
Chicago originally.
Can you tell me what do you like most about New York?
Oh. No. Because it's just, I mean, there's just so many things to like in different areas. I like the theater, I like the pace of it. If you've ever gone like to Iowa for a weekend, then you really appreciate how fast it is here, because it's really boring. So, I like the pace of it, I like the people. I don't like the parking situation.
Can you tell me what you least like about New York?
What do I least like about New York? The parking situation. And I think that's a tough question. What do I like the least about New York? Probably the A train where the air conditioning goes out. I was just on the A train with the air conditioning. And then the people who come to New York, they come here to visit, and then all they do is judge. I don't like that. People come in, they're like, oh my God, there's people of different ethnicities, and they're touching, and get out.
Can you have you ever been to any of the other boroughs aside from Manhattan, like Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island?
I've been to all. I've lived here since 1979.
Okay.
So, sure, I've been to the other boroughs. Sure. Don't think I've ever been to Staten Island.
Yeah, it's one of the few a lot of people haven't been to.
Yeah. Staten Island. I've driven through Staten Island.
Can you tell us?
I like Brooklyn. I like Park Slope. I like the way it's come up. I first lived there in Brooklyn in like 1980, and it was really dangerous. But now, all those neighborhoods that you can't afford anymore were really dangerous like 40 years ago. The Lower East Side.
Can you tell us more about how is New York different from where you're from now? Like, how would you compare the two?
Oh, well, New York's more expensive. I mean, I'm living in Jersey City, which is not, you can't compare it to New York City at all. It's like, Jersey City is kind of like a small part of Brooklyn. It's neighborhoody and things like that. Although it's got little hot spots of cultural activity, but it's mostly inhabited by New Yorkers, because it's only 5 minutes across the other side of the river, or people who work in New York all the time. So other than the price, there's a lot of similarities about it. I don't know what else to tell you. This isn't a very good interview so far, is it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Can you tell us more about your comedy experience, and like, what have you seen about what can you tell us about New York comics and how they're different from any other comics from anywhere else in the world or in the United States?
Well, I've been doing comedy since the late 70s, and in addition to a lot of other things, theater and film, TV, and things like that. But I don't know. I think I see there's a tone that a New York comedian has that an LA comedian doesn't have. More laid back in LA, and New York comedians are a little sharper, a little edgier, and they're less storytellers. They're more, although it's changing. I think they're more concise and more joke-oriented, and comedians all around regionally can be rather laid back or just of that region. So I'm not going to use the word better or that, because there's different styles. But New York comedians are very much like New York. They're fast, they're edgy, and there's a lot going on, a lot compacted into that one presentation.
Can you tell us what is the craziest thing you've seen in New York, or the wildest thing?
In New York, the craziest thing I've ever seen in New York. I mean, it's like pick your decade, but when I first came to New York, there was somebody on Bleecker Street had jumped from a building and bang, hit the pavement right in front of a bar. And cops, they covered him up, and within 15 minutes, there was a sign in that bar window that said, "Welcome to Smith's, drop in any time." And I thought, oh, this is the New York sense of humor. Guy dies right in front of the bar. They're like, let's get a laugh on this. Another thing is, I was on the subway, and you heard them say, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Metropolitan Transit Authority wishes you a happy and healthy holiday season. We will now be held here due to a suicide at 59th."
Oh man.
Those are two crazy things that happen. And other ones don't involve pants.
Last thing, can you give us
I thought this was a 5-minute interview.
Can you give us one of your jokes, or
no?
Too much?
I'm not giving you one of my jokes.
That was a good one. Thank you so much,
All
man.
right.